Welcome to Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando, the podcast for women in business on a mission, sharing ideas to support you to grow, lead, and thrive. Now, here's your host, Caterina Rando.
This is Caterina Rando, and I am welcoming you to another episode of the Expand Your Fempire podcast. I am blissing to be with you today because we are going to discuss simpler ways to increase your impact. Now, here's the truth. This started as a list of easy ways. Then I looked at the list and I said, these are not necessarily easy. They are easier than some other things you may be thinking about to create more impact. Because here's what we know. The more you're in front of people, the more you show up in all the many different ways that you can, with your voice, with video, with workshops, with writing. The more you do all of this, the more impact you can have. The thing is, though, I want you to take what we're going to discuss here in this podcast in order to do it more strategically, which will support you in doing it more effectively. That means there are some things I want you to think about before you get out there. And that's number one, have clarity on your mission, on your message, and who you serve. One of the wonderful things about being in business for a long time, serving my ideal clients, women with service businesses who are already established, what I have found is the more I do my thing, the more I get clearer and more concise about who I serve, about my message, and of course, my mission, which is to uplift women economically through entrepreneurship. Earlier in my career, I wasn't quite as clear what the message was, what the mission was, and really every woman seemed like a good match. And also, when you listen to lots of experts, as I'm sure you do, as I have done, well, what happens? We listen to the experts and everyone, including me, is coming from their own perspective. And you know what that means? That means that everything they're telling you that you absolutely have to do, and everything they're telling you that you absolutely don't want to do, is from their perspective. And it's important to take everything you hear from any author, any expert that you follow, any speaker, and evaluate, and better yet, test it for yourself. That's what I want you to do with everything I'm going to share with you today. First one, have clarity on your mission, your message, and who you serve. And the more clarity you have, the more you are going to be a yes for opportunities that you know are congruent with your message, your mission, and who you serve. And the more you're going to be a no for those opportunities that aren't really the right match for you. Maybe it's the right people, but they want you to talk about something that is outside your passion area. Or maybe they want you to talk about your passion area, your area of mastery, but you're asked to do it to people that are not your people. And you know what? That means it's going to be a lot harder for you. And it's not really going to be as effective for the listeners. We want to always be talking to the people that we know are the right match for us. Now, if you're saying, well, Caterina, this sounds good, but how do I get clarity on my mission, my message, and who I'm called to serve? Let's put some attention there. Your mission is the purpose of your thing. Why are you in this business? What is it that you want to make happen with your business? Do you want to create financial literacy for children? Do you want to be assisting parents to have harmony in their homes? Do you want to support women with being fit and healthy at every age? What is the idea, the mission that lights you up? What is the results you want to create? That will help you clarify your mission. Your message is your philosophy, your guiding principles that you bring to support your mission. For example, you've heard me say, perfection is not encouraged, it is not required. Well, this is one of my messages to support my other guiding principle, which is action is the solution to everything. I encourage people to not get ready to begin to think about getting going. That's another one of my messages that supports my overall message, which I just shared with you, which is action is what creates the results you want. These are things for you to get clear on. What are some of the guiding principles that you use in your work that you want to be loud and proud about, that you want to make sure people are embracing, that you want to be saying over and over in a variety of platforms that will support people resonating with you, identifying with you, and of course, like our hot topic today, being impacted by you. And then the third part, getting more and more clarity on who you serve. This is really important. So many times I have heard women say to me, well, everybody needs what I have. And that might be true if you're thinking about certain areas of life that we all have, like health and wellness, like finance. The thing is, though, that not everybody is called to work with us. Not everybody prioritizes our thing in their life. There are certain demographics and psychographics that are usually present in the people that we work with. It could be, if you have an on-the-ground business, geography. It could be age, education, income, marital status. Are they single? Are they married? Divorced? Widowed? Do they have children? Answering all these questions will support you in having more and more clarity on who you're called to serve, especially when we're focused on impact as we are today. We want people to say, that's for me. This workshop, this article, this video, this clubhouse room. Oh, that is for me. How can someone determine if whatever we're providing is for them? Well, that's when we speak directly to them. When we say exactly who we are talking to, when we share what we're sharing, when we say 5 ways to improve your health for women over 50, or we say 10 ways to create more harmony in your home for newlyweds, or we say 10 things to avoid for first-time home buyers. When someone looks at that, they know if that's for them or that's not for them. This is why it's important for us to know who we serve, because then we can speak only to them. That's number one. Have clarity on your mission, your message, and who you serve. And feel free to pause this podcast to get clarity before you continue to listen. Because you know, my friend, I got so much more for you. Number 2, choose your visibility platforms based on what is right for you. Here's what I want to be very clear on. There is a lifetime supply of ways and places to put your message out there. I want you to take a moment and get clear. Do you like the writing platforms more? Do you like the audio platforms more? Do you like the video platforms more? For example, my fabulous friend Gail Scott, she does a lot of reels on Instagram. We did a podcast with her where we discussed this. You can look it up. She is a beauty expert. Of course, video is the right platform for her. My friend Seema Giri publishes books. That's her business. Of course, writing platforms are going to be a great match for her. Myself, you know that I'm all about the spoken word. Audio platforms are where I feel I could have more impact. Here's the point I want to make. There are too many places to be for you to effectively and, more importantly, consistently be everywhere you'd like to be. That's why you want to pick the platforms that are the best match for you. This is why I podcast and I do clubhouse rooms and I speak, because I'm all about the spoken word. You have to decide what you want to be all about and put your attention there. And if you're not sure, this is where you test different things. You test speaking, you test writing, you test video, and you see what gets you the best results. That's number 2. Choose your visibility platforms based on what is right for you, not for what all the experts are telling you. Number 3, as we've just discussed, my friend, consistency is key. Whatever you do, decide to do it on the regular. Now, you decide what is regular for you. Is that every day, once a week, twice a week, twice a month? You decide. The truth is, the more you do your thing, the more impact you're going to have, and the more you're going to become masterful at it. Because remember, when we start to embrace all these different ways of sharing our message, we most likely won't be as amazing on a new platform as we were on the platforms we were using before. Let me give you a perfect example. I remember when I started doing teleconference calls and running groups on teleconference lines. And it was so much different than live and in person. I couldn't see anyone. I couldn't gauge whether or not they were enjoying the conversation. Well, after a while, the sixth sense kicked in. I got used to being on the phone with people, and it started to work very well. And I wasn't conscious about it. Then, of course, eventually, more recently, we've gone to Zoom. Now, I've had to get comfortable with seeing myself on video while I'm looking at other people, and how to keep people engaged in that format. And then we started on Clubhouse. Now let's get familiar with this format. There's always new formats, platforms, places, solutions for us to learn and navigate. And you can do it. You're super smart. The thing is that you want to recognize that you're not going to be masterful on day one, which is why the consistency is so key. Number 4, always have a free thing. Always have a free thing, or it could be a low fee thing. It doesn't have to be free. It could be low fee thing to invite people to. I'm a huge fan of every month having 1 or 2 Zoom virtual workshops or events, because that way when you meet people, rather than saying, hey, you want to get together one-on-one, invite them to a group setting first and then invite them to one-on-one. Because in that Zoom thing that you're doing, you can showcase your massive value. And by the way, how you have impact on all these platforms is showcasing your massive value. Now, you can have a lot of fun, like Gail Scott and Elaine Williams, also, who does really fun reels on Instagram. You can have a lot of fun doing it. You want to make sure that you're showcasing your massive value. That is where the impact happens. And this is one of my favorite ways to keep a plethora of potential clients always coming in the door of virtual Zoom thing to invite people to. And also when I give a speech, a super tip alert, my goal is to have those people that are at the speech come and spend more time with me, which is why a low fee workshop or even a free workshop can be very effective to invite audiences so that you build more influence. And this also increases your impact. Now, one of the reasons why you may not be having as much impact as you want is because you are not setting goals about impact. I'm all about sales. I want you to grow your sales. I want you to build surplus. I want you to have a profitable and sustainable business. And I'm hoping that you're having attention on that. The thing is, though, that if you want to have more impact, you've got to have goals about having more impact. How many people do you want to be in front of you if you're using speaking as one of your vehicles for impact? How many people do you want to be in your clubhouse rooms if that's what you're doing? If you are being a guest on other people's podcasts, which is another way to have impact, how many times do you want to do that a month? Very important for us to get clear about what we want our impact to look like, how much impact we want to have, and to set goals around it. This is where being proactive versus reactive really kicks in. Because if you don't have goals, you're kind of seeing what happens and accepting invitations when they come to you. When you set goals, you're going to be much more proactive, and you're going to ask more people to have you as a guest on their podcast, to invite you for speaking. When you meet someone who has their own community that you think you could be of service to, you're going to ask them if you can speak or contribute in some way to their community. This week, I'm speaking for a software company that serves entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking to them for the third time. Now, the first time someone suggested I contact them, I contacted them. Then I asked for the rebook. Then I asked for the rebook again. This is where your being in action is going to serve you. Don't wait to be asked. You be the initiator. And you know what? Sometimes the answer is no. But the thing is, when they know that you want whatever it is, speaking, podcasting, etc., then they come back to you when that opportunity opens up again. Last week, I met a great gal. She has an amazing national organization for women in business. I said to her, hey, I know that you have this upcoming event. I would love to speak if you have any more opportunities for speakers. She said, well, you know, Caterina, because of the pandemic, we moved that forward from last year. We're totally booked. I said, well, hey, that's all good. Wanted to let you know I'm always looking for opportunities to connect. What does she do? 3 days later, she says, hey, we're doing a special event coming up. I would love for you to speak. And by the way, I was an Insta yes for her, even though it is at the crack of dawn, way too early for me. The thing is, though, sometimes you have to be a yes, even when it's not easy for you, because I know that if I'm a yes, there's going to be more opportunities. If I'm a no, probably not going to invite me again. Very important. Sometimes I hear people say, well, if it's not super easy and it's not super fun, I'm not doing it. Well, guess what? In my opinion, that's very short-sighted, because you have to have a long-term view of your business. and you have to have a strategic view of your business. And even though it's not fun for me to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and even though it's not fun for me to have to come up with whatever I'm going to talk about in 3 days because the event is right now, I'm going to do it. Why? Because it's good strategy, because this is a whole nother community for me to connect with. This is very important because I want you to bliss in your business. I want you to have fun in your business. I want you to enjoy every moment. And sometimes you have to say, what's best for the business, as opposed to what's best for my personal comfort. Now, self-care is one of the 5 pillars that I want you to have your attention on to thrive in business: speaking, selling, serving, strategy, self-care. And sometimes you have to make adjustments because you still want to be having self-care. But in this case, for example, I'm going to have to make sure I get to bed early, and also that I have a lighter day on the day that I have to get up even before dawn. This is important because the truth is that this day that I'm speaking on this super early, I'm speaking for another group in the middle of the day. And I was thinking about, hey, this is a big day. I'd like to add another clubhouse room. And then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Now, what I'm talking about is International Women's Day, which will have passed by the time you listen to this. International Women's Day is a super exciting day for speaking. You may or may not know, it's also my birthday, and I'm always happy to talk to women on this day. But the thing is, it was my self-care consideration that had me say, okay, I'm not going to pack a third event into this day. We'll leave it at 2. Let's take a deep breath. Think about yourself. Think about your life right now. Think about your business. And are you pursuing opportunities that support where you're going, not where you are? Are you setting goals around these opportunities? And when they come to you, are you willing to be uncomfortable because it's good for your business, even if it's not the ideal opportunity wrapped up in the ideal way? Number 6, pursue being a guest on podcasts. There is a lifetime supply of podcasts that would like you to be a guest. Now, here's what I want you to know. You remember way back when people started to have websites, if your professional career goes back that far? I remember we were one of the earlier speakers, coaches to have a website. Well, now, of course, every Tom, Dick, and Harry, Mary, Jane, and Sheila who's been in business 5 minutes, they got a website. Soon, if not already, before people hire you or think about hiring you, they're going to listen to your podcast. And pretty soon that will be standard operating procedure, that if you want to be an influencer, if you want to grow your business, you want to have some podcast episodes for people to listen to. Now, those can be episodes of your own podcast, or they can be what I'm suggesting here, which is being a guest on other people's podcasts. Remember, I'm giving you the easier ways to have impact. If you're not having the bandwidth to have your own podcast, being a guest on other people's podcasts 2 times a month to 4 times a month is a great way to have new audio content of you having massive value that you can share with your people and your social media channels. And also, of course, whoever is the host of the podcast will be getting your message out to more people. Set a goal for how many times a month you want to be a guest on other people's podcasts. When you do a search for podcasts in your area, meaning whatever your topic area is, you will see all of them come up. And you can go to those sites and you can see, often they have a page on how to be a guest. They have application forms. There's, of course, websites that are like directories of podcasts where you can go and look. And actually, matchmaker.fm, one of my favorites, you can actually reach out to the podcasts through their websites. There's others as well. The thing is, set a goal and then do that and see if it gets you new impact and new clients and expands your reach. And if it does, then do more. And the thing is, remember too, you're not going to be the queen and the best at it the first time. The more you do it, the better you will get. Here's what I want to tell you right now. We have just gone over 6 different ways to increase your impact. Some of what I think are the easier ways. And you know what? I think it's about time for us to wrap up this episode. What that means is that I'm going to do another podcast on this same topic. By the time you listen to this one, maybe the other one will be done too. If not, it will be along shortly. And by the way, if you have not been to CaterinaRando.com/links, run, don't walk, because my friend, there are many resources there that we have discussed in this podcast, checklists, videos, also a link to my next free workshop, which you are invited to, how to connect with our community on Facebook and Clubhouse. Please join our club on Clubhouse, Thriving Women in Biz Club. Please join our Facebook group, Thriving Women in Business Group, because here's what I want you to know. Community is part of what will support you to increase your impact. We'll have to talk more about this next time because I love talking about community, and it's time to wrap up for today. Here's what I want you to know though. You have massive value to bring. There's not only a lifetime supply of people to serve, there's a lifetime supply of people that are going to be positively impacted by your message, by your energy, by your story, by your passion. I invite you to decide right now which of these 6 ways to increase your impact that we've discussed are you going to embrace right now. When I say right now, like do something today, set goals today, pick your platforms today, get clear on your message and your mission and who you serve today. Go reach out to a couple podcasts to be a guest today. My friend, do it now. We don't need to get ready to get ready. You could do all of this with one eye closed, one hand tied behind your back, standing on one foot, because you are super smart. I am sending you lots of love. I am here to support you any way I can. Connect with me, reach out to our community, because if you are a woman on a mission, if your business is what brings you bliss because you get to serve through your business, I am here and my community is here to support you, to connect with you and watch you and support you to thrive and bliss in your business and your life. Caterina Rando, more love to you again. Talk to you next time. Go have more impact. Bing, bing, bing.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.